Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. For those of you who don't know me, I want to welcome you to your first regional meeting. I'm happy you were able to make it. My name is Kathy Bishop, and I work at Thunder Bay Regional Health Science Center as an RPN. I am also very proud to serve you as your executive board member representing our geographical region, Region 1, more affectionately known as the North, and the North. I look forward to sharing some exciting updates, listening to your concerns, and answering your questions. We also have a great giveaway at the end of the meeting, so stay online and engage for a chance to win. At this time, I would like to share our virtual Zoom meeting anti-harassment policy. We will not tolerate hateful messages from attendees that are racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, or ableist, nor any language that is discriminatory or violent in its intent. As such, we reserve the right to expel any attendee from our event that contributes to this type of behavior. Thank you in advance for following this policy. We will begin this meeting by acknowledging that we are meeting on the Aboriginal land that has been inhabited by Indigenous people from the beginning. As settlers, we are grateful for the opportunity to meet here, and we thank all the generations of people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years. Long before today, as we gather here, there have been Aboriginal peoples who have been the stewards of this place. In particular, we are in the Robinson Superior Treaty territory, and on the land which we gather is a traditional territory of the Anishinaabe. We recognize and deeply appreciate their historic connection to this place. We also recognize the contribution of the Métis, Inuit, and other Indigenous peoples have made, both in shaping and strengthening this community in particular, and our province and country as a whole. As settlers, this recognition of the contributions and historic importance of Indigenous people must also be clearly and overtly connected to our collective commitment to make the promise and the challenge of truth and reconciliation real in our community, and in particular to bring justice for murdered and missing Indigenous women and girls across the country. Throughout tonight's meeting, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and we will do our best to answer as many as we can at the end of the meeting. We would appreciate it if you would rename your Zoom name by clicking on the 3 little dots at the top of your picture and click rename. Feel free to also include your workplace and/or position so we know a little bit more about you and also who is asking the questions. As a healthcare worker, I know how stressful the last year and a half has been for all of us. So to start our formal agenda, I'm going to pass things over to SEIU Healthcare Union Representative, Tina Dacey. She's going to walk us through a mental health and wellness icebreaker. Tina, thanks for joining us.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for inviting me out to your regional meeting tonight. I was asked to come out to talk a little bit about some mental health community resources that maybe members aren't familiar or aren't aware are available to them. So I'm just going to share my screen. Right. I hope everyone can see that. That's good. Okay, awesome. All right, perfect. So one of the resources that we thought might be really helpful for anyone out on the regional meeting tonight are mental health walk-in counseling clinics. Many communities across Ontario, a variety of different organizations provide a walk-in counseling, actually. Very similar to a walk-in health clinic where you would just go in because of a medical appointment. There's mental health walk-in counseling services, and many of these organizations will put the walk-in clinics on once or twice a week. Later on in the presentation, I do have a couple of email and websites that you can explore a little bit when you have some time on your own. But the walk-in counseling sessions, you usually do not need to have an appointment. You can go in during the advertised times, and those sessions are open for a variety of different services that you might want to access. Those sessions can be like a one-off session. You're going in. I know on past regional meetings that you might have been on, that I've been in, I've talked a lot about self-care. So you can go in if you're having difficulty in terms of starting up a healthcare practice, or a self-care practice, I should say. But you can also go into these sessions to talk about anything that might be going on. If there's family issues, conflict, divorce, anxiety, relationship issues, anything at all. There's usually no time limit on those sessions. They are open for as long as you need that particular session. And the great thing about the single session format is that it can also be a starting off point for more ongoing services. So I would really encourage people, if you're thinking that, you know, I've been trying all these other different strategies and I just can't seem to get on top of the concerns that I have, I would really encourage you to try a walk-in session, because if nothing else, they will be able to direct you to a service that's going to be helpful for you. So I've included in the session in our presentation tonight, please keep in mind that for any of the members that might be in more rural communities, there's going to be less services available. So I do want to give you that heads up. I've included a couple of websites that you can go in and look at. This one here is for Family Services in Toronto. They provide walk-in clinics at a variety of different times throughout the course of the week, and they've been doing this for a number of years. Let's see. So this one here is for Toronto, and I believe that this presentation will be available on Facebook, and it is sent out. So if anybody is looking to have these websites, you can look them up. So this one's for Toronto. The Walkin Counselling website is for the Champlain Lynn, and this one's more for Ottawa, just outside of those communities in Ottawa. Of course, those are bigger communities, so they have these walk-in clinics available throughout a multi appointments throughout the course of the week. Again, no referral is necessary. I would just encourage you, though, that as you're clicking on these websites to go into them, make sure that this is going to be a service or a particular organization that's going to meet whatever your needs are in that particular time. And if you're not quite sure, then I would encourage you to call, speak to one of the counselors on the phone, and they can let you know whether or not that walk-in would be helpful for you. If for any of those rural communities or for anyone who's not sure of a walk-in clinic might be the best course of action, I would encourage you to try ementalhealth.ca. This is a province-wide website that actually brings together all the mental health services for children, for families, for adults, for the elderly. It will, it actually, you can search through if you have a particular diagnosis. You can search if you're looking for a particular counseling, if you're looking for a particular modality in your therapy. Basically, it is a directory of mental health resources for Ontario. You can search by the community that you're in or the closest city that you're in, and it has just got such a wide variety of resources. It's got different sheets that you can look at. It's got training, if anybody is interested in doing some training or doing any workshops. Usually, eMental Health will advertise those well in advance, and it will give you a link that you can click on if you're looking to attend any type of workshop or training. It's such a great resource. I would encourage anyone to go in and take a peek. And then the last resource that we thought might be really helpful is respiteservices.com. And again, this is an entry point for respite services for everyone across Ontario. The great thing about respite services is it is open to any individual or family that is caring for somebody with special needs or with an exceptionality. And it recognizes that there's a lot of families in our communities that are taking care of people within their family. And respite services links trained individuals who are available to do respite with the families. So you can go in as an individual or as a family and put in an advertisement that you're looking for respite services X number of times a week, and you're looking for somebody who is trained in a particular modality. Those workers are also posting, and that website will actually link people together. The really neat thing about respite services is it's not hiring people for a particular family, it's just linking people. So you will get a list of names, you get to go on to their particular site, you can see what it is that they do, how much they charge, what their qualifications are, and you can interview them. And see if you guys are going to be a good match. And we just thought that respite services recognizes that during this unprecedented time that we're in, not only are we looking at caring for our own mental health, we also need to make sure that we have space and time to do that. So respite services might be a website that will help accommodate that availability for you to be able to do the things that you need to do to recharge your batteries. All right, so I hope you found that really helpful, and I am going to pass it back to Kathy.
Thank you so much, Tina. I want to remind everyone that no matter how busy and stressful things get, you need to take time for yourself and do what you need to do for your own mental health and wellness. I'm so excited now that Charlene Stewart, our SEIU Healthcare President, is able to join us tonight. Charlene will be around throughout the program this evening to answer your questions. So remember, if you have any, write them in the chat and we'll answer them later. Welcome, Charlene. Would you like to share a few words?
Hi, Kathy. Hi, everybody from the great north, but south of Saskatoon, where I was born. So I still always have one up on you all. But regardless of how north it is, north is God's country. So especially this time of the year. So I really appreciate you all coming on because I know it's a beautiful evening up there and just so nice to see you all. And every time I see you, I think, yeah, hot here too. And my air conditioner is broken. So like I've barely got tank tops and shorts on. Thank goodness for Zoom, hey? But anyway, it's so nice to see you and I can't wait to physically get with you. We're just a few vaccines away from finally getting together. So spread the word, vaccines, so we can get together faster. Anyway, like Kathy said, I'm here if you have any questions, but just gonna enjoy seeing you all. And Kathy, great job. You're getting to be a pro at this, chairing these meetings. You even sound calming like a nurse too. So. Anyway, glad to join you guys.
Thank you so much, Charlene, for joining us today. Before we move on, I want to ask the first poll question of the night. As a healthcare worker, what is the #1 area you'd like to see improvement? Oh, everybody wants money. Just waiting for the last few votes. It's a couple more people, I think, that I think 20 people have voted out of the 36 that are here, and the top one is for wages. 65% of you guys want more wages or better wages. 20% would like to see access to full-time jobs, less precarious work, and 15% would like to see pension and retirement security. That's great. Our union is always doing important political work, and this past year has been busier than ever. I'm happy to introduce our next speaker, who will touch on some of the bills the Ontario government has passed that are keeping healthcare workers down. Christophe Barotz is SEIU's Healthcare Deputy Chief of Staff and has always been very involved in our political work. Christophe, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Kathy, and good evening, everybody. It's great to be up here with you guys in the north, virtually, of course. And it's amazing to have some of our top political activists on this call tonight. So, what I'm going to do is kind of run over a couple of the bills that have been passed in the last year and a half that obviously have big effects on us all as healthcare workers and members of a union. So, as I'm sure you've probably heard about some of these bills, some of them maybe not so much, but they all have a significant impact. So, one of the big ones that is a relatively new bill is Bill 254, and you'll notice that all of these bills have a very creative, very kind of nice and touchy kind of title. But obviously, when you look at actually what the bill does, the reality is much different. So Bill 254 is called Protecting Ontario Elections Act. Not sure who they need to protect elections for, but it's certainly not healthcare workers. And one of the new things that I think really kind of shows who this bill is aimed to help is the donation limit. So previously the donation limit, so no individual could give more than $1,650 to a political party within a calendar year. Donations from corporations or unions are completely banned, but individuals had that monetary limit. This bill has increased it to $3,300, right? So you can think of most working class people, most healthcare workers, probably don't have 1650 laying around just to give to a political party or a politician, not alone over $3,000. So again, it's a good demonstration of who this bill is attempted to help. It also can limit the bill itself as provisions that attempt to limit what unions or third parties, as they're called under the legislation, can put into the public realm during the election. And on the right here, there's some screenshots of some of our very successful ad campaigns that I'm sure some of you may have seen it on the TV. Talent to Care, which was one for the long-term care sector. And I would say that that campaign really had a huge impact, not just on the public perception of long-term care and more importantly, healthcare workers or long-term care workers, but it can, I think, be credited for some of the limitations of Bill 124 on for-profit long-term care homes. So it definitely had an impact. The other kind of example here is the one that we ran during the previous hospital central negotiations about raising public awareness, at the same time putting pressure on politicians to put money into hospitals. And then the obviously stuck in the past.ca was a campaign regarding home care. So under the provisions of Bill 254, how we can do these ads is greatly diminished. And the bill itself also has other sort of restrictions on what third parties can do. The good news is, and obviously I'm kind of paraphrasing good news, but member to member activity is still allowed, right? I mean, for them to infringe on what unions can say to their own members or associations can say to their own members would be probably a step too far, but they've basically gone just short of that. One other thing that I think is important to note is previously there's been restrictions that kick in 28 days before an election regarding spending or activities of a third party. Previously, they extended that to 6 months, and under 254, they've extended that to over a year. So we're actually in the election period right now. We're within the restrictions of 254. So here's another attempt by the Ford government to undermine some of the important work that unions try to do. But obviously, as SEIU always does, we're not going to let a legislation stop us. We're going to abide by the legislation, but we're going to continue to do the important work that we do. But overall, 254 shows no respect towards healthcare workers and the importance of you sharing your experiences in the public realm and pushing for change. The other two big bills here is Bill 175, which is called Connecting People to Home Care and Community Care Act. And the other one is Bill 195, which is the Reopening Ontario Act. So Bill 175 is more impactful on home care, and it essentially attempts to privatize and weaken oversight of the home care sector. I mean, we all know the home care sector is extremely precarious. There's a huge room for improvement there. And we think Bill 175 is actually a step in the completely wrong direction. I would characterize Bill 175 as almost trying to bring the for-profit long-term care model into home care. And again, there was no input from workers. It was just brought forward and passed. Bill 195, which is the Reopening Ontario Act that I think a lot of you are familiar with, gave employers the ability to override provisions of the collective agreement. And those are some of the emergency orders under Bill 195 that suspended some of our abilities to file grievances on scheduling, vacation time, or vacation denials, and some of those important things that all of you as home and community and healthcare workers rely on a proper work-life balance. The important thing to note about some of those emergency provisions that they are expiring. So when employers have kind of said, we have to change the schedule or cancel this vacation or redeploy this member, that has an end date, an expiry date. And right now it's somewhere in early July. Hopefully that won't be extended, but we are definitely going to be, challenging those employer actions as soon as those emergency orders are expired. So Bill 195 and Bill 175 do not protect the rights of healthcare workers. Finally, the big one, Bill 124, which I think we should all definitely be familiar with now, is called Protecting a Sustainable Public Sector for Future Generations Act 2019. Obviously, the big aspect of this legislation that it caps wages and total compensation, which is, I think, an important element, because it's not just the wages it affects, it's anything that has a monetary value, that a dollar value. And vacation increases, benefits, all of those play into this 1%. It impacts hospitals, school boards, long-term care homes that are publicly funded, and home and community care. So anything basically that is paid out of the public purse, out of tax dollars, Bill 124 does affect. Ironically, some MPPs, specifically conservative parliamentary assistants, some firefighters and police officers got raises just before the legislation was passed. So, I think it's fair to say, and I saw the poll results right now, that Bill 125 ensures that healthcare workers aren't paid what they deserve. And again, this was a legislation that was brought into power by the Ford government late last year. And given all of the incredible sacrifices that health and community care workers have done in the last year and before the pandemic, it is an extreme attack and an extremely unfair piece of legislation. So, I think in closing, it's very important to say that healthcare workers, if you're nurses, hospital workers, home care workers, long-term care workers, whatever you are, health and community care workers are super respected by the public. Nurses, for example, are always one of the most respected professions in Canada and in the United States. Bill 254 is aimed, I think, at silencing some of those experiences, to make sure that you are not able to talk into the public realm and the union is not able to amplify your voices in the public sphere to tell the public and put pressure on the elected representatives on what's going on in healthcare and to amplify your voices and push for change. Health and community care workers need a voice at the table. They deserve respect. They deserve increases and improvements to your working conditions, and 175 and 195 undermines those values. And obviously Bill 124 is a very clear attempt at trying to balance the province's books on the back of healthcare workers, which is completely unacceptable. And government can act fast when it wants to, right? And this is one of my biggest annoyances in this whole thing, is that Bill 254, the first legislation I talked about, was introduced and became law in 2.5 months, right? An example of how quickly government or this government wants to act when it's in their own interest. But other issues, and there's a whole list of issues, but for example, WSIB coverage for retirement and developmental service workers, something that we've been fighting for 5 or 6 years. The government's aware of it. They know why that is so important, has not progressed at all, right? Or very, very little steps towards that realization, but when a bill is aimed at protecting the government or doing something that is in their favor, they can pass it in 2.5 months. So don't forget, when you are educated and you're aware of how government works and what government is doing, when you speak up, talking about your experience as a health and community care worker, when you vote or when you encourage others to vote, and when we hold politicians accountable, we can and will win. And we as a team at SCIU, the Purple family, the Purple Party, will continue to fight the good fight. Thank you so much. Back to you, Kathy.
Thanks, Christoph. You explaining these bills should really put the pressure on all of us to push back and fight for them to be repealed. I know SEIU has really led the fight in this and has worked closely with other unions. And let's hope we get the victory soon. I am now excited to introduce Sheena Woods, who will talk about something very unique to SEIU Healthcare, our nursing division. Welcome, Sheena.
Thanks, Kathy. So everyone's saying everyone gets like used to doing these things. I never get used to doing these things. But my name is Sheena Woods, and I am your nursing division executive board representative for Region 1. I'm happy to be here tonight to tell you more about the nursing division. Did you know that SEIU Healthcare is the only service union with a dedicated nursing division? We are proud to have the space for our diverse group of nurses across the province. The nursing division is led by the president, Jackie Walker, and we have a vice president for each sector and a representative from all 8 regions. I got involved in the nursing division because I wanted to be more involved in the union, and I wanted to, as a whole, just to help create positive changes for nurses across our province. Our nursing division keeps our nurses updated on their unique professional standards, which are practice standards set by the College of Nurses of Ontario. We advocate for changes to the scope of practice in our profession, to close the wage gap between RPNs and RNs, for safety on the job, including PPE, to address the staff shortages impacting healthcare, for zero tolerance for violence and harassment of healthcare workers, and so much more. The pandemic has been an incredibly challenging for nurses and all healthcare professionals, and so it is important that together we fight for what we need. We are asking our nurses to share your stories from the front lines of battling COVID-19. If you haven't yet, we would love for you to please upload a video directly on the seiunurses.ca/stories site, as well for other healthcare workers to share stories about nurses you know who go above and beyond. Telling our stories is an important way to get the public's, our employers, and the government's attention to create meaningful changes for our profession. We need to put pressure on those in power to do better for nurses and all healthcare workers. Our voices are incredibly powerful tools. SEIU Healthcare and CUPE's Ontario Council of Hospital Unions recently surveyed nurses across the province. 93% of RPNs reported experiencing mental and physical exhaustion. 66% of RPNs reported witnessing a coworker experience violence at work. And 1 in 3 registered practical nurses reported not receiving paid time off when requiring to isolate due to COVID-19. Our president, Charlene Stewart, and our nursing division president, Jackie, along with SEIU healthcare nurses, have been sharing these findings through media press conferences. I don't know if anyone's seen them, but they're out there. We are letting the public know that what healthcare workers are experiencing is not okay. Enough is enough, and we deserve better. The government must increase staffing levels with full-time jobs that include benefits. We need access to mental health resources and safer working conditions. We have been urging the government to give healthcare workers their second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine sooner than the 4-month interval, which tomorrow I get my second dose, but after a 4-month wait, working in the ER, which is a little bit sad, but woo! On our seiunurses.ca website, you can find updates and many useful resources, including a recently published guide for redeployment of hospital workers to offer other hospitals to promote your professional standards of practice if you are redeployed. You can also find educational webinars. You can also find educational webinars. It's Time to Support RPN's campaign, a digital version of our nursing division magazine, Scrubs and Scopes, and so much more. One great thing you can take a look at is our Nurses Unite campaign, where we have received so many submissions from patients and clients across the province who are saying thank you to their healthcare professionals. Messages have come pouring in from the public to show appreciation to healthcare workers for your professionalism, compassion, and integrity. It will warm your heart to read these beautiful tributes. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Back to you, Kath.
Thanks so much, Sheena. Topics like workplace safety and WSIB have never been more important than they have been in the last 18 months. And I think it's safe to say it will continue to be the topics on the top of everyone's mind moving forward. I would like to introduce our next presenter, Brenda Snyder, who works in SEIU Healthcare WSIB department. Thanks for joining us tonight, Brenda.
Thank you, Kathy. I'm just going to share my screen here. Let me see if it's going to share. Okay. Okay, so thank you, Region 1, for inviting me to your meeting tonight. So I wanted to talk to you a bit about health and safety, your rights, what you can know within your workplace, and also a little bit of WSIB. So who are your Joint Health and Safety Committee members? These you will find on your health and safety boards. Some health and safety boards also have pictures of your Joint Health and Safety Committee members. Your union bulletin board may also have your committee members on them. So it would be prudent for you to take a look and see who they are. Look them up, get to know them, have some discussions with them. They're a committee that makes a difference in the health and safety in your workplace. And they can be very helpful if there's some concerns in your area that you have. You have 3 basic rights. You have the right to refuse dangerous work and know that you are protected from reprisal. And we do have a guidance tool for you on our website. And if you need it, you can talk to your staff rep about it as well. You also have a right to know about workplace hazards and access to basic health and safety information. And you also have a right to participate in health and safety discussions in health and safety committees. That's why it's very important that you get to know your health and safety committee members so that you can discuss with them what is happening within your workplace. If you have a health and safety issue or concern, you should first notify your supervisor or manager and talk to them, discuss the issue and concern, and talk to it about great length and where you have that concern and possibly have a resolution as well. After the discussion of if the issue or the concern is not resolved, you can take it further. But just note that a supervisor or manager may have to go higher up in order to resolve the issue or the concern. So they may need some time for it. And that's part of the discussion that you would have with the health and safety person as well, and your supervisor and manager. If it isn't resolved as you think it should have been, you can also fill out a workplace health and safety complaint form. And every workplace should have a form for health and safety. And contact your Joint Health and Safety Committee member. They may not see these forms. Unfortunately, they may not in some workplaces. So it's good to contact them, let you know that you've had the discussion, what's happening. If you're waiting for a decision from higher than the supervisor or manager, so that they can find out what is happening with it and make sure that it's resolved in a timely manner. So make sure you contact them and discuss things with them as well. I also want to talk about injuries. Should there be an injury or an occupational illness or a disease occur, you should report to your employer as soon as possible. Seek medical treatment immediately or as soon as possible. Do not delay in seeking treatment. If you delay in reporting to your employer or delay in seeking treatment, and you should have to file a WSIB claim, it could, on those 2 points alone, it could be denied, and it could take a few months or more in order for that to be resolved, depending on the board's status with their appeals, which right now in WSIB, it's 6 to 9 months that people are waiting for appeals after the appeal resolution form is put in. So ensure that a workplace incident report is filled out and that you're entitled to a copy of that. Some workplaces, they seemingly go missing, or we have also found that they've been changed from what you have signed. So make sure you get a copy of that. You're entitled. The employer is legally obligated to send a Form 7 to the WSIB should you seek medical treatment or your work duties are modified or accommodated for a period of time. You're also entitled to a complete copy of the Form 7. And now when I say a complete copy, if they make any comments to the board, you are entitled to that sheet as well. And ensure that your SEIU Joint Health and Safety Committee member is copied on it, or give them a copy. We find most times that the Health and Safety Committee members aren't provided copies of this, and they can only see if there's any gaps or if there's an issue within your work area that needs to be looked into and further investigated. So remember that it takes a village to raise a child. What also takes a village, your workplace, you the members in the workplace, to make sure that your health and safety is at the utmost importance to the employer, and that you go home to your families very healthy and safety. And I thank you very much for coming out tonight and seeing us, and back to you, Kathy.
Thanks so much, Brenda, for that important information. I just feel like I should be taking notes. It's like, oh my goodness, I'm learning so much. Now to deliver some important information, I want to introduce Corey from SEIU's Healthcare Communication Team, who's going to talk to you about the brand new SEIU Healthcare mobile app. Welcome, Corey.
Evening, Kathy, and good evening, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. I will take a quick moment here to go through our amazing new mobile app. I know when we did the RSVP, we asked if folks had downloaded it, and we see lots of good results. So we just wanted to take you through some of those numbers and give you a really quick overview if you haven't signed up yet, and really encourage folks to share it. So I'll start off with the good news here. So we launched almost a month ago. It'll be this week. It's crazy to think that the app has already been out, and I saw some folks in the chat got here through the app, which is awesome to see. And I think, you know, this is the most turnout we've had for Region 1 yet, and I'm sure the app has a lot to do with it. So thanks so much for downloading it and being one of the first. And as you can see on the screen here, you're not just one of the first, you're one of the first over 5,000 already, which, you know, is we're really happy with that number. You know, when we started, we were hoping, you know, 2,000 the first month would be good. So 5,000 is just really awesome. And I think, you know, I talk to so many people every day and so many stewards, and they just tell me how much of a difference the app has made, even for small things, whether it's looking up things in your collective agreement, whether it's contacting the member service center. We're really proud to be able to give you a new tool that you can use almost on a daily basis. So again, 5,350 downloads so far. That number keeps growing every single day. 61% are on Apple phones, 39% on Android. And really, I just put that there just to show that, you know, no matter what device you have, whether it's an Apple, whether it's a Google, whether it's a Samsung, the app works the same, it's supported the same. There's really, you know, no difference between the two, and we're committed to both. So I get that question a lot, whether it's different on different platforms. It's all the same, and you can see that's the breakdown. And then 430 stewards, and I put that there because I think, you know, we have somewhere around 2,000 stewards across the board. So it's a number that we're really looking at growing. So if you're a steward on this call and you don't have it, please get it, because, you know, we're watching you and we're looking for you to get it. But if you're a member and you notice that your steward doesn't have it, really encourage them to do it, because like I said, you know, the ability to be able to check your collective agreement in the click of a button, or to contact the member service center without having to call in, or just having that information pushed to your phone as opposed to looking for it, can really make a difference. And you know, I'm channeling Riley, our head of education here, who always says, you know, knowledge is power. And, you know, now instead of having to search for that knowledge, we're bringing it right to you. So If you're a steward or if you know a steward that doesn't have one, make sure to get that app on their phone. Just some really exciting and fun numbers I want to share too with the app is, 6,000 article shares, which, is a really big number. And what that means is, not only is the information coming to our members, but then our members are taking that information and sharing it with their colleagues. Maybe that's an event. I know Kathy is really passionate about driving the attendance up to these meetings. And I know every time she sends that link to everybody on her Facebook and everybody on her emails, and she's posting it on sticky notes in the bathroom at work, I'm sure, just to, get people here. And now with the click of a button, you can share that event with your colleagues. If you have the number in your phone, you can share that article, that event, that petition. It just makes it such a difference. And, that's with 5,000 people on the app, that's over 1 share per person. Obviously, I looked and there's some people that have shared 100 things and some that have shared none, but it's just another way to keep spreading that message and getting people more involved with the union. And then one of the really cool numbers I like to share is, and this number, it's changed a little bit today, it's a little bit lower, about 40%, but the member service center requests coming through the live chat. And, when we launched the app, and when I was here last regional meeting, I talked a lot about how the app was really trying to bring the union to the 21st century. And that, call centers they're still there, but, if you're contacting for your phone bill or anything else, you're usually using the live chat because it's quicker, it's easier, you don't have to call, you're not placed on hold, you're not waiting in line. And the live chat's really like that with this. So, I think about that number, 5,000 out of 60,000 members, we still have a long way to go to get the app to people. But when we look at who's using the app, considering 45% of our member service center requests are coming through the live chat, what that's telling us is the active people, the people that are contacting the member service center, the people that are involved with the union, those are the ones on the app and those are the right people to start with. So on top of those numbers too, I also just want to share is that also doesn't include callback requests. And if you've used the app and you go to the live chat, the contact section, there's a place where the member resource center will call you back at a time convenient for you. And we're getting about 10 to 20 of those a day as well. So not only, those are 10 to 20 requests that, maybe wouldn't have come unanswered or they've left voicemail. So it's just another way of contact. And we're really happy to see that folks are using the technology we put on their fingers. So really quickly, if you don't have the app, the easiest way to get it is just go to your Google Play Store or your Apple App Store, search for SEIU Healthcare. You'll find our beautiful purple logo and you're just going to click get or download, get it on your phone. I get asked all the time, is it a big file? Will it take up a lot of room on my phone? The answer is no. The other one is I don't have a huge data plan. Does it use a lot of data? Again, the answer is no. There's no risk to having the app on your phone. It's an awesome tool and definitely go and download it. To sign up, little quick walkthrough here. I always remind folks, because this is maybe the number one question I get, but if you have a member portal account, so if you have a member portal account at seiuhealthcare.ca, it's actually the same login information. So you don't need to sign up again. You can just log in with that. But if you do need to sign up, you just click the sign up button. You'll enter you'll let us know that you're an SEIU Healthcare member. If you don't know your member ID, first, I would say look at your phone or your emails because we have been sending out your member number with the emails and texts we've sent about the app. But if for whatever reason you still don't have it, I recommend skipping it for now just to complete the registration process. You can get the number once you're logged in through the member service center, but don't delay in getting the app because you can still use most of the functions without your member number. And then once you're in, do that. Kathy should share her referral code with you so she can win an iPad, but there is the little referral code at the bottom there. A lot of folks, I get contacts, they can't find it. It is right there. You just have to click the add referral code at the bottom there, and that'll get you in. If anybody has any questions, put them in the chat between now and the end. I will answer them at the end of the session. A few other quick things. Again, quickly, in the app, you'll find your collective agreement, fully searchable. So if you're looking up vacation language, you type vacation, it'll show you everywhere vacation is. The live chat, you can live chat with the member service center. You can call the member service center with one click of the button, or you can request a call back at a time that's convenient for you, even in the evening. News alerts. So you're never going to miss a news alert, whether it's a petition, whether it's something we've done, whether it's an event, they get pushed right to your phone, you get the alert. You can turn those on and off, but I don't know why you would ever want to turn them off because I know you love hearing from us. And events. I know a lot of you came here tonight through the app, and every single event we do, whether it's something like this, whether it's a Facebook Live, and yes, even when we can get back together in person, hopefully this fall, all of those events will be in there, including events in your area. We're looking at not only adding SEIU events, but local events, labor council events, just to keep you involved as possible. And that's very specific to your area. So you'll see what's closest to you first, but we're not going to hide anything just in case you want to jump in your car and do that. I won't even guess the hours of drive. I'm going to say it's like a 20-something hour drive to Toronto. Come visit. Finally, just some quickly, as with anything, we did have some bugs when we launched. We're still working a few things out. Sometimes I do have folks that say they can't find their collective agreement. It doesn't work. Like any app, you do have to go to the App Store and update it. All the collective agreements should be there. If you're not seeing yours, make sure to go to your App Store and download the update. The most recent update, as it says here, did come out on June 4th. It's our third update since we launched. What's great about this one is if you go into the app right now, you'll see all of the regional meetings. You'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. We now have the ability to target specifically to regions. So when we do these next meetings in a few months, you're only going to see the region 1 because why would you want to sort through 8 to find this one? So that's something that's really great. We're also working on targeting specifically for sectors and classifications. So if you're a nurse, there may be some nurse specific content that only nurses will be able to see, same with PSWs and sectors. If you're a PSW in home care, we can hide like maybe a hospital event that doesn't interest you so that you don't see that. Again, we're just trying to make the app as tailored to you as possible so that you get exactly what you want out of it without having to search through a bunch of different stuff. New updates will come every 2 to 3 weeks. So keep checking your app store for updates and new features are going to follow as well. We have a long roadmap of a lot of different things we want to add to the app. And this is just version 1. We're super happy with it. Again, please advertise it to your coworkers. Make sure everybody you know has it. When you go to the My SEIU tab, there is a thing with a referral code there. Make sure to share that referral code and get your coworkers to use it. Every time someone uses your code, you get a chance to win an iPad that will be coming sometime next month. And everybody likes to win. So with that, thank you. If you do have any questions about the app, please put them in the chat and we'll answer them shortly. But with that, I will pass it back to Kat.
Thanks so much, Corey. I personally love the new app. I love being able to read all about the union news. I actually like being able to chat live with the Member Service Center and also being able to access my collective agreement at any time, especially when members like you have any questions or concerns. The app has really connected me to my union like never before. I encourage you to download it as soon as possible if you haven't. Before we move on, I have a couple more questions that I'd like to ask you. So question 1, have you downloaded the SEIU Healthcare mobile app? And then the second question, have you gotten the COVID-19 vaccine? So it looks like 88% of us have downloaded the app. And for that, a few people who haven't, I've got a referral code for you. I don't want to win or anything. And as far as the COVID vaccine, it looks like 53% have gotten 1 dose. 39% are fully vaccinated. 6% haven't got it at all, but want it. And 6% haven't got it and don't plan on getting it. Okay. Thanks for providing your answer. Now it's time for our giveaway, a $75 President Choice gift card. This will be given to the first person who answers the following question correctly in the chat. Name 2 bills the Ontario government has introduced that have held healthcare workers down. Anybody need help?
Kathy, I can help you there. So Jennifer was quick. Jennifer was quick. So 124 and 254.
Okay, so Jennifer is from, yeah, Are you, I forget where you're from, Kirkland Lake or that area? No. Did you give us
Iroquois Falls.
Iroquois Falls? Okay, yeah. Okay. I know we've thrown a lot of important information at you tonight. So now we'll take any questions you may have. You can put them in the chat or raise your hand on Zoom and we will call on you when it's your turn.
I will answer one question just because it was sent to me privately, but I had a steward in here ask if that they were not listed in the app as a steward, and I just wanted to let folks know right now only the chief steward of your unit is visible in the app, but there are plans in the near future to list all of the stewards in the app. And in another update that's going to come is there'll be actually a button that you'll be able to click to contact your steward by email directly. So some future updates to look forward to try to really enhance the connection between stewards and
members. Okay. I don't see any other ones. No. No more questions? Everybody's happy? Unfortunately, our time is quickly coming to an end. But before we go, I just want to highlight 2 upcoming events happening this month. On June 22nd, we will be celebrating Filipino Heritage Month. And on June 29th, we will be celebrating Pride Month. Both events will start at 7 p.m. and will be live streamed on our Facebook page. Also, Purple Day is July 16th. So connect with your stewards and start making some plans to celebrate. For more details on all upcoming events and initiatives, make sure you download the brand new SEIU mobile app. We are going to post a link to a feedback survey in the chat. If you could take a minute to fill it out, that would be great. We will also send you an email tomorrow with a copy of this meeting and the survey. I would appreciate it if you would take a few minutes to fill it out, as we want to learn more about what you would like to see at these meetings. I also want to remind everyone to follow SEIU Healthcare on Facebook and Instagram. On Facebook, you can find us under SEIU Healthcare Canada, while on Instagram, we are at SEIU Healthcare. You should also check our website at www.seiuhealthcare.ca to find the latest news, initiatives, and COVID-19 resources. This website and our resources are updated daily. Don't forget to check out the new mobile app, as well as our online member portal and e-learning platforms. If we didn't get to your question tonight, which we seem to have got all the questions, or a new question comes up and you would like an answer, you can contact the Member Resource Center at 1-877-672-7348, or you can go on your live chat on your new mobile app and ask them the question there, and they'll answer you. Monday to Friday from 8:30 to 4:30 p.m., and someone will be happy to help you. You can also access the Member Service Center through the SEIU mobile app. I want to thank everyone so much for joining me tonight. I hope you all have a wonderful summer. Stay safe, and don't forget to keep an eye on your emails for the date and time of our next meeting. I look forward to seeing you then. Enjoy the rest of your evening.